Against all odds, the Lobos find a way. Never underestimate the will of this team. Jaylen House, JT Toppin, they take down one of the beasts, the all-time beasts in the Mountain West to win a Mountain West championship for the first time since 2014. Mustafa Amsil and company. Not today. We're punching a ticket to the NCAA championship. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside a raucous Thomas and Mack Center. Nate Kreckman, Terrence Oglesby, Jesse Kurtz. New Mexico, against all odds, down a superstar for most of this game. 4 games in 4 days. They relinquished the big lead and found a way.
It's unbelievable. And it came down to their defense at the end of the game. This is a New Mexico team. Look, we need a little gritty from Jaylen House, and he deserves every single bit of it. Over the last 5 minutes of this game, absolutely shut down the Aztecs, and it was a guards game today between House and Mashburn. They were absolutely terrific, Nate.
Held San Diego State without a field goal for a 7-minute stretch at the end of that game. And one of the big factors at the end of this was Jaylen House's day, and he's going to be the tournament MVP. It was JT Toppin, the freshman, that really picked it up at the end of this game. Got some huge offensive rebounds, some key buckets, some key stops on the defensive end. He gave Jaden Ledee problems. Toppin was the one with the closing kick today for the Lobos.
Best moment of the tournament. Jaylen House went right to the trophy. He had it before they were ready to dish it out. He knew what that meant to this program. He knew what it meant going forward, that the doubt was over. They had punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. 28 points, 5th most ever in a Mountain West championship game. This guy wouldn't be denied the entire tournament, much less tonight with a spot on the line.
My man is in incredible shape. 4 games, 4 days, got better as the tournament went on, and a lot of it's bravado. And look at my man Richard Pitino hoisting the trophy that they so well earned. This was a deep New Mexico team, and quite frankly, guys, they were tougher in the last 6 minutes, and you don't get to say that all that often against San Diego State.
They were the toughest team in this tournament.
No question.
2 nights ago after they beat Boise State, Richard Pitino said, "We punched our ticket." The bracketologist said, "Not so fast, my friend." Well, they go out and they beat Colorado State last night, but they had to deal with the behemoth that is San Diego State here today. What better way to punch your ticket than to just kick the door down and say, "Bubble is popped, we'll take your automatic bid."
Guys, think about what New Mexico just accomplished. I'd have to go back and really evaluate, but has there ever been a tougher road to a championship than this road to them?
This is the most impressive feat we have ever seen in the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever won 4 games in 4 days. Nobody has dealt with a tougher gauntlet in this tournament than to beat that Boise State team, that excellent CSU team, and then to knock off the national runner-up from a season ago and beating San Diego State. I can honestly say this is the single most impressive performance we have ever seen from any team in Mountain West tournament history. And Jaylen House, who lifts the MVP trophy right now, he is the man who put this team on his back and got them into the tournament.
Hot off the presses, House, indeed, tournament MVP. Jaylen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr., JT Toppin, all on the all-tournament team for New Mexico. Jaden Ledee from San Diego State and Great Osobor from Utah State round out the 5 players that will make up the all-tournament team that really was an all-time tournament for the Mountain West for everything leading up to this tournament and everything it meant here in Las Vegas.
It's really unbelievable. But, hey, guys, we will talk about San Diego State a little bit. This is a team that thrived on their toughness, thrived on being able to bully other teams. I think their lack of shot making ended up catching up with them today. The way New Mexico collapsed on Jaden Ledee for the entirety of this game, making decision-making hard, and he was still absolutely fantastic, going for 25 and 6. They needed other guys to step up. It's for San Diego State and Aztec fans, you hope that they're able to find their jump shooting that they had yesterday in the NCAA tournament, but that's all credit to New Mexico. I don't want to take anything away from what they were able to do. And let's be honest, Jaylen House, one of the most impressive conference tournament performances I have ever seen.
How about the defensive strategy against Jaden Ledee? Didn't take his first field goal until 6:20 in the first half. He had a monster mid-game, right? From the end of the first half, to the start of the second half. The whole team went cold, but what Jaden Ledee did in that middle portion, 25 points, all he did was become San Diego State's single-season scoring leader past the great Michael Cage. But it just wasn't enough to beat this Lobo team who was flat out on a mission.
And here's the thing, too. What Richard Pitino had to do today, he got everybody in foul trouble. Nelly Jr. Joseph, I think he picked up his 4th foul with around 11 minutes left. They tried Sebastian Forsling. They tried Isaac Mushila. They tried all these different guys just to give him different looks. And it was an eventual wear-down effect with that unit. What a performance for New Mexico, who got buckets when they needed to get buckets. And that last 2 minutes, guys, was exhilarating. Some of these stops, transition buckets, especially by Jaylen House, who was still full go. I've never seen somebody with so much stamina as far as playing full 40 minutes. My man has gone, what was it? They had an overtime game. So it's not just 160 minutes. He played around 165, 170 minutes this week. What a performance all the way around. And they needed that guy, too. Jamal Mashburn Jr. They needed another shot maker with Donovan Dent feeling under the weather. Jamal Mashburn Jr. was that guy, especially in the first half.
Yeah, Mashburn had his best game of the tournament by far, 21 points and 4 rebounds tonight, but his shooting early on in this game, this was a game where New Mexico was down up 14 points and gave away that lead late in the first half. San Diego State battled their way back. Also, don't forget, the Lobos went through about an 8-minute stretch without hitting a field goal in the second half. That's just what the Aztecs do to teams, and Lamont Butler is able to do to teams. They fought their way through that, and late in that game, in a 4th game in 4 days situation where they should have been absolutely dead, they dug deep and found something else. They got steals, they ran the floor. Jaylen House pushed the tempo. Unbelievable performance.
And credit to Richard Pitino, too, guys. One thing, when you play San Diego State, they're going to take you out of everything you need to do. He simplified over the last 25 minutes of this game. High pick and roll, let me get my best 2 players the ball and let them work the actions themselves. And, buddy, did they ever. JT Toppin, when they did miss, he was there to rebound.
San Diego State shot 36% from the field. All New Mexico did in this tournament defensively, held Air Force to 40%. Okay, pretty good. Boise State to 29% from the field. Colorado State to 34% from the field. And they got San Diego State to 36% from the field. In March, now 7 games, they've held their opponents to right around 37% from the field shooting. Sensational defense by Jaylen House and this New Mexico Lobo defense.
It was another game where they had 7 steals, where they had 5 blocks, and they were able to get out in transition when they needed to in this game. Again, they got forced into a lot of half court, and a ton of credit to Jaylen House and Jamal Mashburn for the way that they were able to play. I don't think we can overstate the impact of Donovan Dent not being able to go in this game. They really weren't able to play inside out the way that they typically like to. Touches were limited for Toppin and for Joseph in this game. Hey, credit to Toppin. He still went and got his, had another double-double today, leads the country in double-doubles for freshmen. But this was a New Mexico team that had to find a way, and did they ever?
Yeah, they sure did. Here's the thing, too. When you have 2 guards that are creating a lot of your offense and simplifying things, you don't turn the basketball over. As a result, San Diego State couldn't get out and run. Only 4 turnovers today for New Mexico. San Diego State, on the other hand, who's usually pretty sure-handed on that end of the floor. They don't make shots, but at least they get shots up on most possessions. 10 turnovers leading to 14 New Mexico points. That is massive. We talked about how it was going to be a battle of the defenses, and today the helter-skelter pace of what New Mexico likes to do reigns supreme. What a performance. Cut down those nets, Lobos.
Our man JT Toppin, who was just up on the ladder right there, we talked about the way that he played. He had 6 offensive rebounds in this game. San Diego State, the story of their tournament was that coming in, they were plus 27 on the glass in their 2 victories over UNLV and Utah State. Today, New Mexico matched them on the boards.
Here'll be another story for this team. 160 minutes played, 4 games, 160 minutes played. They trailed for just about 7.5 the entire tournament. Coming into this game, they had trailed by just a mere seconds. They held the lead in all 3 games basically for its entirety. Today, San Diego State had the lead a little bit longer, about 6.5 minutes. So over the course of 4 games, you led for all but 7.5 minutes. That's a heck of a run.
That's a dominating performance end to end in a tournament where you started out playing on day one. Unbelievable.
Nate, we talked about this in the history of this tournament. The seeding was as such. We had a 6 seed here in the championship game. Yesterday we had a 6 for 7, and nobody was shocked. So I suppose we shouldn't be shocked that a team like New Mexico, who has a top 22 net in the country right now, was a 6 seed, is the team that goes all the way. The way in which they did it, I think, is the most impressive, with the 4 games in 4 days, being down a superstar, all the pressure in the world. They were told after the Air Force win, yet still haven't done enough. They were told after the Colorado State game, still haven't done enough by some people, yet here they are. All right, it's time to hear from some of the Lobos. Let's go down amongst the masses to our own Bridget Howard, who has the coach.
Thanks, Jess. I'm here with head coach Richard Pitino. Coach, you finally get to punch your ticket to the NCAA tournament. You left no doubt for the committee. How does it feel?
Amazing. I mean, we came here with a lot of work to do, and within 3 years, we're champions. We're going to the NCAA tournament. They're a great group to coach. I couldn't be more proud of them, and I'm so happy for our amazing fan base.
To be able to accomplish this with 2 of your first recruits, in Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jaylen House, what is it like to share in this moment with those 2 specifically?
They came in here and believed us. They didn't even visit campus because of COVID, but they believed in our vision as a coaching staff, went through a lot of ups, maybe a little downs, and they willed us to victory with one of the best guards in the conference out tonight. Just so proud of their determination and their grit. They're winners.
You talked about toughness all week long and said whoever was going to win this, it was going to come down to toughness. How did you see your group play with that toughness throughout this entire stretch? 4 games in 4 days.
Made winning plays. We weren't going to be tired. We weren't going to give in to fatigue. Got stops and rebounds at the end when we needed to. And Nelly Jr. Joseph making those free throws was huge.
Coach, first Mountain West tournament title since 2014. What is this moment like to be able to share in it with this fan base?
It's one of the best fan bases in college basketball, and it's not even close. And they're so loyal. They travel, turned it into Pitt West. Can't wait to go home and celebrate with them.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you, Jess.
Thank you, Bridge. Yeah, Pitt West fills up pretty fast when the Lobos are winning, and you could watch, I'll use Southwest Airlines as an example, all the flights, the cheaper fares all got gobbled up last night because Lobo fans immediately got on after the win over Colorado State and said, we got to find a way to get to Vegas for this.
You know, Richard Pitino talked about Lobo fans traveling here, and they have forever. They have not won this tournament since 2014. They haven't been to a title game since 2018. To see one of the best, most loyal, most rabid fan bases in the country get rewarded like this, it is just so wonderful to see, because the support that this program enjoys, it's unlike very few programs in the western half of the United States. Getting over the top, getting back to this point. They had the great dynasty with Alford and Craig Neal, Kendall Williams, Cam Bairstow, Alex Kirk, Tony Snell, that entire group. This is a new great era of Lobo basketball.
And here's one of the underrated storylines of this whole thing. He talks about the COVID year and when they got Jaylen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. Guys, let's not forget, Richard Pitino was let go at Minnesota.
Yep. Yeah.
He comes to New Mexico, gets a fresh start. Jamal Mashburn wanted a fresh start. Jaylen House wasn't getting any minutes at Arizona State. And then you start looking up and down the roster a little bit. JT Toppin overlooked.
Yeah.
Donovan Dent overlooked. Nelly Jr. Joseph was at Iona for Papa Pitino. He ends up playing for Richard. All these guys have such a great story behind them.
One of those guys who wanted the fresh start, who believed in the process with Coach Pitino. He's with Bridget Howard right now.
Thanks, Jess. I'm here with Jamal Mashburn Jr. Jamal, you just told me, I remember when this team was 200 in the net.
Yeah.
To be here now with this group, how special is this moment?
It's special, man. I mean, we work our butt off. I mean, every single day in the gym, and we never let up, never quit. And there was times where, it was frustrating throughout the 3 years and rebuilding this team. But the group that stayed here, me, House, Sebastian, Quentin Webb, Braden Applehans, and then the key pieces, Jaden Toppin, Nelly Jr., everybody contributed. And every night we get something different from each and every guy. And it's just a blessing. I'm just at a loss for words. It's a blessing.
This week was a little rocky for you offensively. I saw you out before the Boise State game at halftime trying to get up extra shots in here.
Yeah.
You made shots when it mattered most. What changed for you today?
Man, nothing. I want to say nothing because I always put in the work. I always believe in myself, and there's times where it's hard, for sure. I mean, sports is difficult. I mean, you're going to get down on yourself, but if you stay true to your work and stay true to who you are, which is what I'm doing and which is what I'm going to continue to do, good things happen, and good things happen tonight. So
they absolutely did. 4 games in 4 days for this Lobos team, but we know the energy never wavers with this group. What do you have to say about the toughness of this group to be able to come out on top in this way despite being exhausted?
Yeah, we super tough. We got, like I said to them right now, we got 6 more to win. We just got an NCAA tournament. We got 6 more to win, and we can go play one tomorrow. I mean, this group is ready to go. I mean, we practice hard. We're together. Everybody's with each other. Man, our toughness is through the roof.
You and Jaylen House came in here together to be able to share in this moment with him and bring this type of energy back to Lobo basketball in Albuquerque. What do you have to say? Man,
it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I got to give all glory to God, all glory to Jesus Christ. And he allowed us to be together and be successful, man. And I love that kid, man. Me and Jaylen, man, we've been through the thick and thin together, through the bad nights, the good nights, the mediocre nights. He's been there with me. So I can't be nothing but blessed.
Mash, the dynamic duo is heading to the NCAA tournament. Go enjoy this one.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Back to you, Jess.
All right, thank you, Bridget. We got to see Eddie Nunez go up at the top of the ladder, the athletics director at the University of New Mexico, his first men's basketball championship. Richard Pitino cranking the net, the celebration. But how about Mash, guys? Bridget touched on his struggles. 8 for 27 coming into the game. All he does is score 21 here today. Back down to Bridget. We got more reaction. The freshman standing by with her.
Thanks, Jess. I'm here with JT Toppin. JT, 4 games in 4 days for this Lobos team. How did this group continue to battle and get here to holding a Mountain West tournament trophy?
Man, we needed this one. We just kept telling ourselves we're not tired. No fatigue. We're going to keep playing hard every game. And we did that. We did just that.
What do you have to say about the effort from this group down the stretch and the defense specifically, and what problems you were able to cause for San Diego State?
Man, we played so hard. We knew we were going to have to play aggressive and stay on the boards, and we knew we were going to have to get the ball to the D hands, and we executed.
How has this program and Coach Pitino helped you elevate your game to become the player that you are right now, one of the best freshmen in the nation?
They helped me by just keep working with me, gave me freedom, to believing in me, giving me the confidence that I needed, and yeah, they helped me a lot.
JT, you said you wanted to go to the NCAA tournament. That's what this team was trying to prove. You left no doubt. You're headed to the NCAA tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Back to you, Jess.
12 double-doubles on the season for JT Toppin. 3 of them coming in San Diego State. That's pretty darn impressive.
It's such a tough matchup when you got to go up against Jaden Ledee all night. The physicality down in the paint, and the referees really, I thought this crew let them battle down low today. I have to imagine there's some bruises, there's some calluses. This New Mexico team, they're going to have to hit the ice bath before they go to the NCAA tournament. But Toppin closed this game out tonight. 13 points, 11 rebounds for the freshman this evening for this tournament. And really, 32 steals, 25 blocks is what New Mexico put up over the course of 4 games. That is what they do. They get tips, they get blocks, they get out on the run, and they get buckets. They played the kind of game that they had to. Richard Pitino said after last night's victory, we've turned into a great defensive team right here in this tournament, and it was their defense that got it done today.
It certainly was, and this was a rock fight to start out. Some shot making gradually started to happen towards the end for New Mexico, but by and large, guys, this was a gritty game. There was a lot of fouls called, and they just had to keep throwing more and more bodies. Sebastian Forsling had not played the entire tournament,
Sure.
And he gets thrown in at the end just because you run out of bodies having to guard Jaylen Ledee, who's very much, guys, if I had a vote, he would have been my guy for Player of the Year in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Speaking of that grit, the guy who personifies the grit for New Mexico, he called his shot many times a few nights ago. He's the MVP, Bridge.
Thanks, Jess. I'm here with Jaylen House, the MVP of this Mountain West tournament. Jaylen, what a celebration your group had at the end of that one. Take me into that moment. What's going through your mind?
Feels amazing. We just came so far, and God rewards you at the right time.
How special is it to be able to share in this moment with a player like Jamal Mashburn Jr. and a head coach like Coach Pitino, who you three collectively believed that this team could get you here?
I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, we weren't that good when we first got here, and we built something. And we're just trying to keep building so everybody will want to be a Lobo too.
Absolutely. Jaylen, 4 games in 4 days. You're the first team in Mountain West history to play 4 games and win a Mountain West tournament game. What does that say about this group's toughness?
We're just resilient. We want it. We want it. We want it.
Your dad had some pretty great reactions in the stands. He was cheering for his boy. What does it mean to be able to share in this moment with him?
It's amazing. I mean, it just shows that my dad loves me, my family loves me, my mom's right here, my little brother's right here, my girlfriend, my daughter at home. I'm just happy. I wish my girlfriend and my daughter could be here as well.
Jaylen, there were a lot of questions whether or not this Lobo team was going to be in the NCAA tournament.
No more questions now. No more questions now.
You made a promise to Lobo Nation, and you kept it. Jaylen, you're headed to the NCAA tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Back to you, Jess.
Thanks, Bridge. How about the line for Jaylen House?
Let's go.
Yeah, no more questions from anybody, even Bridget Howard.
Hey, look at Pitt West back here.
Oh, it's
Are
amazing.
you kidding me?
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
How about the lines for Jaylen House this week? 4 games, goes for 16, 29, 19, and now 28.
He was a slam dunk tournament MVP.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any doubt about that at all in this game. And I thought tonight, Jaylen House, he got the technical early on in the second half. He was frustrated at a non-call on Reese Waters. He got teed up. Look, he is the emotional heartbeat of this team. Richard Pitino, I thought it was very savvy. Got him out of the game for a few minutes, let him get his composure. He came back. The bucket that he got on Trammell, the and one at the end of the game, that was the dagger. That was what got him a Mountain West championship tonight.
Guys, I'm going to be honest. When he got that technical foul, I was worried for New Mexico. I was like, this is not the time to get it. A few minutes into the second half, San Diego State's making a run, and then it just kind of happens. But this shot chart says a lot because we talked a little bit about simplifying the offense for Richard Pitino and what he did. It was middle ball screen, attack, find shots in the middle third of that floor. That's where he was so good with his quickness, getting to the cup. His change of pace, his change of speed is elite. And I can't think of another guy quite as fast as Jaylen House when going from a walking position to an all-out sprint with the ball in his hands. He is elite in that matter. He's not very heavy, but he's elite in that matter.
We didn't get a chance to really dive into what Jamal Mashburn meant in this game.
Sure.
Because we were going back and forth the bridge. So let's spend some time on that. Started 4 of 4. And when you saw that early, you thought, what about New Mexico's chances here today?
Well, he made 5 shots over the last 2 games. He finally started hitting early on in this game. And, guys, those aren't easy shots.
No.
He was getting heavily contested on a lot of those looks. San Diego State was switching. They were trying to get bigger defenders out on him. Jayden LeDee picked him up a number of times. But as you saw right there, Mashburn is just so savvy, so quick with those releases. But when you have a bigger player like Jayden LeDee contesting you right there, the degree of difficulty on those shots is massive. It's so impressive what Mashburn did tonight. He missed the Utah State game at the end of the regular season with flu-like symptoms. We saw him really having to battle through a lot in this tournament. Clearly, while Donovan Dent was maybe down a little bit with the illness, Mashburn was feeling much better today.
Well, here's the thing, too. In all those shots that you saw on that highlight reel right there by Jamal Mashburn Jr., the game was different for him today. He was able to find his rhythm because he was able to dribble it a little bit.
Yeah.
When Donovan Dent's in that game, he's a much more of a catch-and-shoot threat, somebody who's not going to get those rhythm dribbles that he likes so much. Today, you kind of got to see what Jamal Mashburn was when he came into college at Minnesota, when he first came into school at New Mexico. He's an on-ball creator. He played off the ball this year because they found something in Donovan Dent that would make their team better throughout the course of the season, the way he shares the ball, the way he does all those things. But today they needed a shot creator. And against San Diego State, they were hunting out mismatches, and they were attacking. They really made Jayden LeDee work on the defensive end, and that's not easy for a guy as heavy and who moves like him.
It is funny to think that a player's going to be more comfortable with a guy like Jayden LeDee stepping out on him, but I really do think that Mash liked that matchup.
Well, it's much easier to get a guy who's backpedaling to raise up, because let's be honest, Jamal Mashburn Jr., he wants to shoot jump shots. Yeah. That's what he wants to do. If you get him backing up, there's no way for Jayden LeDee to explode up to block your shot. You attack him first, you get those mid-range shots, you get those three-pointers, 3-pointers off the bounce, and then you can create those open looks, and that's where he's most comfortable, and it shined through today. That wasn't on the scouting report for the back half of the season. It was more Donovan Dent. Mashburn could get loose if he gets going, but today he got comfortable, and that was the biggest difference and why he was so effective in the championship game.
How about the battle of titans that we had between these two programs? Get this. Only one time since 2010 has New Mexico and San Diego State not been in the championship. One of these two programs every year since 2010 has been in the Mountain West Championship. The only one that one of them wasn't was 2017, Nevada and Colorado State. All right, here you go. Here is the updated net rankings as of this morning, right? They don't change it until tomorrow, but here are the net rankings entering today. New Mexico with that 22. My question for you guys is, the metrics, once you get into the NCAA tournament, can change. New Mexico, if they were one of the last in, going to be in Dayton, right?
Right.
Now that they're not one of the last in, the metrics change. They're probably off that 11, right? They probably are up to a 9 or an 8.
I love that. And that was kind of what I was going to bring up. Not only did they win this one today to solidify their standing in the NCAA tournament, they probably played their way out of that first 4 in. This was this morning.
Yep.
So
yes.
I think as time has gone on, I think they're out of that 11 game. They might be in that 9 or 10 range just for how they played here in Las Vegas this week.
I think if there is a possibility of a Mountain West program going to Dayton right now, it's Colorado State.
Correct.
That's the one to keep an eye on right now. But outside of that, this is a 6-bid league. And this is history in the Mountain West Conference. And New Mexico, they were the team that had work to do coming here to Las Vegas, and they did all the work.
This was a dream all the way back in November, working in the conference office, started throwing around, could we really get 5 again?
Right.
Could we get 6? And here we are, mid-March. It's become a reality, the trajectory of the Mountain West, what they did against the Pac-12, what they did against the WCC, solidify themselves as the best in the West, and now all eyes are on these programs that have built this reputation, top 40 in the net, 6 of them. Going forward, how does this continue? What are some of the things that the institutions, teams in this league, the other teams, continue to raise the bar?
Well, it comes down to retaining coaches, retaining talent, and being able to get guys out of the portal. Guys, we know what college basketball is right now. We know the challenge year over year to be able to keep guys in place. We already see jobs opening up around college basketball. We've seen Mountain West coaches having their names rumored in some of those spots right now. That is the entire key. When you can stay
inevitable.
In a place, when you can do what Brian Dutcher has been able to do at San Diego State and have that kind of extended run, what Leon Rice has been able to do at Boise State. All the credit in the world to a coach like Danny Sprinkle, who goes to Utah State. One of the great stories in all of college basketball this year. But when you can really put that kind of culture in place and keep guys in there for a long time, that's when you start to see that kind of sustained run of success.
I think the biggest thing, there is going to be turnover. There's always going to be turnover
Yep.
at any level of college basketball. I think a lot of times when something like that happens, instead of looking from within for some of these cultures that have been put in place, we tend to look outward to see if there's anywhere we could find something else. These top 7 teams, you look at these coaching staffs, some of those things, there's a lot of future head coaches on those staffs. So I'm curious to see where they go next with some of these things because it's inevitable. I'm not pointing at one school or another. These things happen, but in order to keep those things going, you have to keep these cultures in place because the fan bases are certainly going to follow along, and that's what makes these jobs so enticing, no matter who the coach is.
But the culture here at the Thomas and Mack continues to get better. The most profitable Mountain West tournament in the history of this league. 11,149 tickets distributed to the championship game.
Wow.
Over 79,000 tickets distributed for the entire week. Thank you to all who watched. Thank you all for coming here to the Thomas and Mack Center and making the greatest season of Mountain West basketball history, the greatest tournament in Mountain West basketball history. Let's take a look at where we came from here this week, and what a week it was. Remember way back like a year ago when Wyoming and Fresno State played that
Well, we
game?
called those games.
I remember that.
Boy, what a run it has been. The quarterfinals, a couple of overtimes, some buzzer beaters between UNLV and San Diego State. Dedan Thomas Jr. with the heroics. Colorado State getting the revenge on Nevada, and then New Mexico's roll through Boise State, Colorado State, and then San Diego State to lift themselves to a Mountain West championship for the first time since 2014. What a week it has been. And I want to pass out plenty of thanks to all who made this week and these shows possible. Brian Tripp, Dennis Trapani, Caleb Howard, Tyler Huck, Charlie Bromhall, Jonathan Palmer, Adam Parker, of course, our great Bridget Howard with all her great interviews, Nate Kreckman, Terrence Oglesby. Thank you so much for joining us here on stage with your analysis. Jay Thomas, Krista Blanc, Tammy Blackburn, your awesome analysis and insight on our women's basketball championship, and the commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Navarez, giving us the tools to do our job and highlight what was a sensational ending to a sensational season in the Mountain West. It's New Mexico, the champions of this great league for 2024, their 5th overall Mountain West championship, first since 2014. Jaylen House, you punched your ticket to the NCAA tournament. Selection Sunday tomorrow for the 6th bid Mountain West. For everybody here in Las Vegas, thank you so much for watching this presentation of the Mountain West Network. We appreciate everything you've done and your insight, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Best week of the year, man. 6th bid Mountain West. Let's get it done tomorrow.